what is good, my Quick Crypto family and my Coin Factory family? We're back once more with your Kaspa Crypto live stream, and we have once more a very interesting stream to go through today. We have got some updates regarding smart contracts for Kaspa, which of course is very big, very bullish news. We have got some updates regarding Octa in this stream today, also a little bit regarding Zebec as well. We're going to be going through all of them in due time, and also courtesy of Mr. Miles, he made a post and showcased it to our community earlier, and I found it very intriguing. It's a theory, nothing more than that, but it's still something that I deemed was worth highlighting in this community to let us all debate about our thoughts behind the matter. The fact that Kaspa's lackluster listings is by design, and that actually it's a ploy by these smart money entities to end up taking knowledge of the fact that Kaspa is going to be the next big thing, so they want to try and become a part of history. We'll get to that post in a moment and a lot more. I apologize for, again, my timing of going live right now, but I went live today because I also believe that tomorrow I'm unlikely going to be able to go live, and Friday also is very hit or miss. I'm hoping that Saturday and Sunday should be good days, but the next 2 days I'm not entirely sure. I'll be sure to keep you all updated in the free Discord server. If you're not a part of it, then definitely tune in, talking about crypto and Kaspa. And then we had a very nice discussion just earlier actually about price action for Kaspa, about the fact that it could potentially make a very big rally. I believe it was north of 90 cents was the thesis. If I look here, it was put in by Edica. Once again, thank you very much. And yeah, according to other sentiments, basically, it suggests that Kaspa should be able to make its move up to 90 odd cents in this inevitable rally up, which of course people have a similar sentiment as well. Again, we'll get into all of that and stuff a lot more in this stream. Of course, if you enjoy the content as much as I try to do it every single day, if you enjoy, leave a like, share with your friends, subscribe for more, and remember, as always, don't be emotional, be logical, and take time to appreciate what you have going around you right now as well. Welcome back again, everyone, to the stream. Crypto Gosu, for sure you were definitely first. I saw you typing very early. Welcome back again, brother. You're doing very well. And yes, also first in smashing the like button, please, guys. It helps me out so much more than you know. Please smash the like button if you can do. Lau, welcome back, brother. Thank you very much for being here. And you too, LB, on the check-in. Brett, good evening to you too, bro. You're doing very well. And you too, Wing Hong. We Munya, unfortunately, not just yet, but there's a increasing sentiment that we are on the cusp of seeing this next big rally. We've had many notable smart money individuals, from parts in BlackRock to other elements within Wall Street, who are just saying the bull run is still very much on. The fact of the matter is, the Fed should be cutting rates very soon, although we do have this thread here from the KYC letter, which does suggest a little bit of a crisis on the hands, with Trump signing an executive order to fire Fed governors to basically try and take control of the Fed. We'll get into this post as well, because this also could explain as to why the markets have been a bit stagnant lately. We saw 2 days ago when the executive order was filed, Kaspa came down roughly 8% or so on the daily time frame. Bitcoin equally on the very same day came down about 3%, and Ethereum also came down quite significantly as well. So evidently this move by Trump did not resonate well with investors, which is understandable when you consider the fact that the Fed have, for the most part, been perceived as a kind of final line of defense. For those who perceive that Trump is overdoing it, to put it bluntly, a lot of people perceive that the Fed is that final line of defense to stop Trump from completely taking control. And they are acting within the means. Of course, we want rate cuts, but at the same time, there has been enough argument to support the fact that they don't need rate cuts. I mean, again, the market's at all-time highs, but they now perceive that the economy, the inflation right now is manageable, and they now need to focus more so on the actual growth of the ecosystem and the job market to determine rate cuts or not, which is why they're shifting their focus now more dovish. Again, we'll see more coming out very soon. We'll get to that post again in a moment. So no, we don't have a moon yet, but hopefully soon. Welcome back, Devious Me, bro. You're doing very well. Sad, I tried pre-sale of a bit later. Feel scammed. Going to focus only on capital from now on. I am very sorry. I don't even know regarding what pre-sale you're referring to. But I mean, again, that's the whole inherent risk to anything, right? I am currently partaking in the pre-sale for Igra Labs, but Igra Labs being an extension of Kaspa, and again, it's just an element of trust that I've decided to have for Igra. They have been very transparent, but again, in saying that, God forbid, touch wood, there's nothing saying that Igra Lab does not completely screw me and everybody else over as well. Now, I want to play it's unlikely, but you never really know. That's the whole risk to pre-sales, right? While you can get into the right project, front run it, and then make a lot of capital, you also run the risk of bad actors who are controlling that pre-sale, just taking your assets and your money and running into the night. So yeah, Fat Kaspa in that regard is definitely perceived as a safer asset. Fair launch, proof of work, no pre-allocation, no pre-sales, meaning it's much more reliable in that regard. But again, you live and you learn. I've partaken in a lot of different elements in the crypto space myself, and I've also made mistakes. But again, the stuff I try to teach more and more here, and equally in my VIP as well. But again, we'll learn more about that later on. But welcome back again. Devious, hope you're doing very well, and hopefully you're here to learn much more about Kaspa. I bet with a goat. Welcome back, bro. When Lambo? Soon. Yes, soon indeed. That's the belief. But yeah, hello very much. It's 11 p.m. Over here. Time for one last coffee. Damn. Coffee at 11 p.m. I can never. I really can never. It's currently 10 p.m. on IMAT. I've had a very I've had a day, you know. I think those who are part of my community know that I've had a bit of a mental couple of 2 weeks, especially the last week has been a bit of a time, you know, a bit of a time without getting too into it. But I figured again, I do my best to try and go live whenever I can do. I do intend to publish a video for Kaspa tomorrow. It'll probably be around smart contracts and whatnot. I'll figure it out, and I do plan to also listen to Tom Polinsky's 7.5 podcast and try and make a TLDR on it. Hopefully, I'll find some time this weekend to do so. Welcome back, Tony S. Zebec. Indeed, yes, we'll get to some announcement about Zebec in a moment. The announcement regarding Zebec is going to be referring to their new mobile network called ZebecNet they're trying to build, which, I mean, that in itself does sound pretty cool. Now, again, how great it'll be in the long term, it's tough to say, but you know Zebec have got partnerships to JP Morgan, to MasterCard, to Circle, to many other prominent networks and institutions, so it does give them in a strong spot. Of course, yes, those who are against proof of stakes, I completely understand the sentiment. We're here for Kaspa mainly, but I think Zebec is still a decent hedge this cycle, hence why I'm looking into it. And right now, if you look at Zebec, currently up 0.24% on the daily time frame, valued at 0.0044. Those who've been following me since I started talking about Zebec, and those who are part of my VIP would have heard we were talking about hedging into Zebec around this zone around here. We were hoping it would hit 0.0035, which it just missed out. But then, because we were aware, based on the market chart, that we anticipated a move for Zebec was coming through, myself, we got in around 0.038, so around the bottom here. And of course, right now, Zebec has come down a little bit, but for the most part, right now, we are still up and hoping that with the market, due to rallying off the back of rate cuts and other positive sentiments, that Zebec will also rally in suit. The next stop, from what I've seen from sentiment, seems to be around the 0.01, so the 1 cent zone for Zebec, which would be a nice another move up. According to the fib retracement, you might see it go as high as 1.1 cents, which would also be quite cool. And then how far it goes in the cycle, we're going to have to wait and see. Currently, Zebec, I think, it's only got a 500, maybe $400 million market cap. Once my CMC decides to load up, we'll have a look. But I mean, in regard to what Zebec seems to be building and the partnerships they have, I'd argue that Zebec is 400 mil market cap. I'd argue that Zebec could definitely reach maybe the few billions or so. I'm not sure how much, of course, but that's Zebec right now. I think Zebec does have potential to do a lot more in the cycle. Not financial advice, of course, just my own belief. Do your own research and tread your discretion. LB, I've been saying this for months, Jay. It's by design, that's why I'm impatient. Oh yeah, I mean, I've also had the speculation about it, but I never really delved deep into it. But because Mr. Mars made the post, and despite the banter we constantly do on this channel, Mr. Mars is someone that I do accredit as someone who is quite knowledgeable, and I want to talk about it because I'm sure all of us share a similar sentiment. And when he breaks it down in his post, which we'll get through here, it is very interesting, and it does lay things out quite, chronologically, quite logically, in my belief. Now, it's not confirmation, it's still speculation, but again, maybe it's a sign of what's to come. Welcome back, Double D, bro. Hope you're doing very, very well, brother. Welcome back to the show, my man. And everybody else here tuning in. Trying to get to stuff right now. Brett. But if it's by design, then it's kind of good in a way. Big money interest want to pump it up as much as possible. Exactly, Brett. That's the premise. If it is by design, that means that when they decide that they want to pull that bandit off and finally let it rip, Kaspa's going to explode. And of course, we've had more and more time to position ourselves and allocate accordingly while the price is down. The price has been rising higher and higher. Bitcoin Max is now looking towards Kaspa as well, bringing in more belief in the project and FOMO from the project. And we know big institutions are aware. Now, maybe they aren't as aware as we expect, because we've heard when Kaspa said he went to the events in Malaysia and whatnot around the world representing the Kasplex and the KEF. He said that a lot of people actually didn't know of Kaspa at all. So we are definitely in a bubble, but then when you got the likes of Marathon, for the first time ever, mining another asset besides Bitcoin and it being Kaspa, Grayscale hinting that they're going to add Kaspa as a currency under consideration for their product suite. You've had Binance leak multiple times about Kaspa, Crypto.com release a page on how to buy Kaspa, OKX very same as well, and also part of the KEF. Coinbase are now talking to Kaspa, have been doing so for a very, very long time. Kaspa got connections to Zodiac Custody. They have an ETP with Valor Funds. Kaspa has reached into institutions. They've got the KRI as well, who have partners like PwC, Shell, Hyundai, Bosch, Eon Energy. There's so many companies that have, in one way or another, connections to Kaspa. So it's a theory we're going to entertain this stream. And I think it's something that, again, it could spark maybe another bit of FOMO for us and belief of what is to come for Kaspa. Welcome back, Wyatt, bro. Hopefully you're doing well, brother. Welcome back to the stream, my man. And yes, that's also something I'm looking out for Friday, which unfortunately, I'll be trying to provide the insight to my VIP community, but on Friday it's going to be the PCE inflation data, which is going to be important, of course, because that's the Fed's preferred measurement for interest rates. But right now, considering what we heard from Jerome Powell, the Jackson Hole meeting, his stance, and therefore the Fed's stance on rate cuts has pivoted from inflation metrics to job and economic metrics. So if the job market is really, really struggling, they're going to start cutting rates. So it's still important, but it doesn't have as much weight as they would have done a few months back. Trump is straight up a mastermind. I mean, maybe he is. We'll have to wait and see. Saturday, I did 22, 5 hours at work, and 22 coffees. Oh my gosh. Gosu. Yeah, you might as well just get when you go to the hospitals, you have those tubes, that just the IV fluid tubes. You might as well just do that with coffee at this point. That's ridiculous. I couldn't do that. Thank you very much, Wing Hong, bro. I appreciate you very much. And yeah, it's just been a whole time. You know, my mentals is all over the place due to personal matters, and I've just tried to find just the time. More importantly, just the time right now. It's been quite a process with me right now, but I'm very confident that in the coming, I say confident, no one knows, life happens, right? But I'm confident in the next coming weeks, if not coming days, as we get back to normal, making more content than ever before and preparing for this next massive rally up with smart contracts on the door. It would be a disservice to you lot if I was not here when that happened. Welcome back, Unstable, bro. You're doing very well, brother. Welcome back to the stream, my man. And welcome back, YouTube Buffalo, bro. Great to have you here once again. And everybody else tuning in right now. We got Autumn Film. Where have you been? Kaspa community needed you. I'm trying to be here as much as possible right now. I won't be here tomorrow. Well, it's unlikely I'll be here tomorrow. It's a chance I may not be here on Friday, but I'll give an announcement to my community. If I go live on Friday, it will be at a similar time to today, very, very late. Then the weekend I should be here, back to usual time, I hope. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Kaspa community, we all need to band together still, and that's why, again, I've got my free community here, which you can tune in and learn more there, where people, when I'm not about, like I have been recently, the community have been continuously spurring the moment and talking more and learning more, which has been great. So that's again why I'm very happy we have the community here, where we can just chill, chat, and learn more about it for free. So again, go check it out if you haven't done so already. Also link down below in the description. But our deadline is still close. We're not here just yet. 4 days. We'll get to this smart contract talk in a very, very short moment. Actually, let's do it right now. More questions coming in a moment. So let's get into this content right now. So see, right now, Kaspa, not really moving much today. Currently down 0.05%. Literally not moving at all right now. We saw a bit of a further wick earlier before making that gain back up. So it seems to be trading right now, again, within this green zone that I drew out months and months and months back. which is between 0.083 to 8.3 cents and 8.83 cents right now. Obviously, this seems to be a very, very critical zone for Kaspa, another level of support and or resistance. Of course, the key zone is definitely up here at 9 cents, right here. Now, I do believe that Kaspa will hopefully surpass that with September coming through, smart contracts coming up. I'm hoping that Kaspa will start garnering more FOMO and therefore start rallying above 9 cents. And then, of course, the key zone, which has been proved to be the critical level of support and or resistance for Kaspa, is at the 10 cents, 0.1 right here, rejected here, found support here momentarily before coming down. Again, same thing here. You can go through all of Kaspa's history. You can see the time and time again when Kaspa's been rejected at 10 cents or found support there. So this is a zone that we want to regain and hold. And in my belief, and again, it depends on external factors, you know, the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum, where it's moving at the moment in time and everything else. If we can find and hold 10 cents, that'll be a very strong indicator that Kaspa's going to hopefully hold that and then continue making that move up, which again, according to information provided to my free community, shout out to those who are learning more, tuning to other channels and whatnot, there's a sentiment that believes that Kaspa will make this move, you know, in this coming months, move up higher and higher, and the target seems to be up as high as around the 90 cents. Now, of course, some are hoping and still expecting $5, $10, whatever it may be, $3. At the end of the day, we don't know where it's going to go. There is increasing sentiment that I've published to my VIPs and interviews from these institutions that suggest that we may see an extended bull run. That would be very interesting and very big for Kaspa, no doubt, especially with Dagonite seemingly, no deadline confirmed, but speculated to be coming out in Q1, Q2 of 2026 or so. So if that is true, that would be huge if we do get extended bull run. But in the case that 90 cents is a Kaspa top, that's still a 10x from this current position right now, which isn't bad at all. In the grand scheme of things, it sounds bearish when you think that Kaspa was meant to be spoken about reaching $2, $3, $5, $10, right? But you got to understand that crypto is a very, very undervalued and small and niche market still. It's growing more now, rapidly, accelerated, but it's still small. Most smart money, big institutions, your JP Morgan, your Bank of America's, whatnot, they invest into the stocks, right? Whatever it may be. And they're used to making, you know, 40, 50% gains year on year, right? So, you know, a 10x is insane. Now, of course, in crypto, that sort of stuff is quite usual, especially if you go into high risk, high reward assets. But a 10x in an investment is insane. And the fact of the matter is that this space is going to rally and grow so much more that in the sentiment that you were to get in now and hold for, you know, the next 10 or probably years, the amount of multiplier you'd make would be insane. In theory, of course, nothing is guaranteed in this space. Do your own research, not financial advice. But the one part we can attest to is Kaspa is extremely early. So with that, and we can see what's happening right now. Tangent, I'd argue the top cold storage wallet in this space, but there are multiple very, very well-renowned ones. They've highlighted here their weekly swap leaders, with BNB at the top, XRP following close second. Then you got WCK, Solana, and Kaspa. This to me is important because it highlights that, you know, Tangent cold storage wallet, people are taking true, you know, ownership and sovereignty of their own assets is very, very good. But the fact that Kaspa, despite the sentiment that completely continues coming out about Kaspa being small, unheard of, undervalued, whatever it may be, Kaspa is still filling these top spots. One of the most bullish puts in this space, undervalued puts in this space, and getting the recognition and the transaction, the swaps from these other platforms. We're seeing big accounts. This is just a very generic post-party engagement farming, but Dr. Whale, 269,000 followers, also making a post highlighting Kaspa. So we're seeing, again, bigger and bigger accounts, you know, who have multiple thousands, if not millions of followers now, who are starting to highlight Kaspa again. And maybe they're being paid to do so or not, but the point being is Kaspa is starting to enter a spotlight once again. Which is where now I want to get into this post from Mr. Mars before I get into the smart contract updates here. Shout out to Mr. Mars if you're tuning in right now. He made this post literally earlier today, and I think it's very, very interesting, honestly. He says here, the modern day JP Morgan, the theory behind Kaspa's mysterious non-listings. There's a growing phenomenon in the cryptocurrency world that seems to defy logic. A large number of major crypto exchanges, from Binance, Crypto.com, OKX, Coinbase, you name it, even asset managers, Grayscale, they have all at one point or another given strong indications that they were about to list the Kaspa. there were teasers. You know, remember Grayscale, they had it asset under consideration for Kaspa for a month or two, or 1 or 2 quarters before they removed it. Crypto.com posting how to buy Kaspa, OKX, how to buy Kaspa, Binance, equally showcasing they've got future contracts. Coinbase now have future contracts for Kaspa as well, actually. But you also got mining pools of Binance as well. And you also had multiple posts that, while teasers, they quite evidently symbolize Kaspa. We've seen that. We're not ignorant to that. These teasers have ranged from cryptic messages to explicit signals, yet a full spot listing has never materialized on many of these platforms. On the surface, this behavior seems to make no sense. The traditional explanation, technical difficulties, legal hurdles, or a desire for favorable market conditions. But the point being made here by Mr. Miles, and I do have to admit that is logical behind this statement, is, does that really make sense? Because technically speaking, there have been smaller exchanges. You know, your XTs, your L banks, your even Gate or KuCoin or MEXC. You know, still those ones are bigger, but even they are smaller exchanges than tier ones who have been able to list Kaspa without any issues. So the technical hurdle is not seemingly holding up as well as they want to admit it would. Legal, well, you've got US-based exchanges like Uphold who have been very bullish on Kaspa, and Kraken who recently added a USDT trading pair. So they finally got a stablecoin pair for Kraken right now, who have listed Kaspa without any legal challenges. So evidently the legal challenges also doesn't really make sense. And the businesses, well, a major exchange would stand to lose an immense amount of money in trading fees by delaying a listing for the project with such a passionate community. Holding a large bag of Kaspa over a year without monetizing it goes against the core principles of a financial institution. Point being is, in that sentiment pretty much it says, inevitably they're going to have to list at one point or the other, or they're going to lose out a lot of money. So, why? Why are they delaying? Why do these powerful entities seem to be interfering with Kaspa's progress? So he breaks it down here with an explanation regarding the JP Morgan. Modern JP Morgan here, the kerosene industry, and the rise of electricity. At the turn of the 20th century, the dominant source of light and the key revenue stream was the kerosene industry. When electricity began to emerge, it was a direct and existential threat. Powerful kerosene companies didn't just ignore this new technology, they actively worked to undermine it. They funded anti-propaganda campaigns and highlighted the danger to electrocution in an attempt to protect their established business model. And it's the same thing, you've seen it every time. Think about smart money right now, your BlackRocks, your JP Morgans, literally Jamie Dimon. You could literally go through multiple interviews where he's been saying Bitcoin is only used for criminals. Crypto is only used for criminals. It is a threat. It is dangerous. And now look where they're at right now, launching blockchain companies and partnering with Zebec and other companies as well. BlackRock also saying we have no intention to get into Bitcoin, and now look at them. They will deny it if it goes against their ethos and their agenda and their way of life. But once they see that it's inevitable and they can't avoid it, they will front run it. JP Morgan. However, a shrewd financier named JP Morgan saw this differently. He realized that the true power lay not in the technology of electricity, but the infrastructure required to deliver it. Morgan didn't fight Edison or Nikola Tesla. He strategically invested in both and consolidated the entire fragmented industry. He bought out Edison's company, renamed it to General Electric, and became a gatekeeper for the new unified network. Morgan didn't sabotage the new technology. He controlled its adoption and built an infrastructure to make it his own. And then, of course, Kaspa in that regard is a modern parallel. A high throughput proof of work, fully scalable trilemma solution, and has the perfect payment rails for stablecoins, and even then more than just payment rails. You know, it could be utilized for true sovereignty and decentralization, for information as well as payments. So the theory that Mr. Master put in forward here, which I think is an interesting theory that we could talk about here, is that these institutions, your Grayscales, your Binances and whatnot, they are strategically accumulating more and more of Kaspa through mining, whatever means it may be, while it's still low. Because, I mean, if you think about Uphold, right? I mean, at least in regard to Uphold, you've seen Dr. Martin Heidberg's extremely bullish stance. If I go and load up one of his recent posts, in fact, right here, if I go load up one of his recent posts, you can see where he gives a little bit of a summary about their new Kaspa 2.0 document they're going to be releasing very, very soon, which I'm going to try and find in a moment. When he did that, they literally highlighted at the bottom in the summary that Kaspa is going to be the next big thing. How far back do I have to go to find it? Is it going to be replies? Probably. It hasn't been 5 days, has it been? Here it is, yeah. See right here. Running at the speed of the internet itself and enjoying none of the scalability issues of a linear chain, we believe that block DAG tech is essential and inevitable, the next step in the evolution of blockchain. Now, of course, that's Uphold saying that, but, you know, there's definitely to be a growing belief, and there's enough of a belief to, you know, support the statement here. So going back to Mr. Miles then, you know, we're seeing that Kaspa, of course, is in a very, very unique spot. It's undervalued. So in light of everything that's going on, again, this post is already posted in the Discord server. I definitely recommend go checking it out. I've also reposted it on my Twitter page. You go find it there as well. But as he summarizes here, in this light, the interface is not an attempt to stop Kaspa, but rather a strategic play to control its immense potential. It's an example of the established order not fighting the new technology, but embracing it on their own terms, just as JP Morgan did with electricity. The delays are growing pains of a new financial network being built, not the death throes of a project being suppressed. And there was, I think it was Kaspa Silver, or somebody else. It might be Kryptoni. Someone else made a very similar point. How the fact that these institutions who are buying it and not listing it, while they seem frustrating to us and we're waiting for it patiently, or maybe not so patient anymore, but we're still waiting for it. If they continue to accumulate more and more and more and stacking it, they're going to keep the project afloat. And then when they perceive the time is right, they will list it, and that will start the snowball effect, and things will continue to rally on faster and faster. And maybe the catalyst for that, with big accounts now talking about it more and more, is going to be these smart contracts. So apparently over 30 million Kaspa shorts stand to be liquidated if it posted above 9.5 cents. We'll have to see what happens when it happens there. We've got some big smart contract updates here as well. Igra devs and node operators are in GD mode. Public node operations are now live. The Calva testnet is now running on community hardware, not just ours. The first Igra nodes are live, offering open RPC endpoints for anyone to test. This is decentralization in action. External operators are running the network, sending transactions, and proving that Kaspa's block DAG can support the live EVM rollup. This is the core function for everything to come, and most important step so far. The known temporary limitations is the Ethereum prog fork, which I actually think the KII highlighted as well, which is why they've built their own version, because there is a shortcoming to this. The maximum payload size on the layer 1 is 20 kilobytes or kbytes. The capped is 10 TPS for now, and confirmation time is 5 seconds. Now 5 seconds still is extremely quick, but of course Kaspa has the capabilities to be less than a second. We've seen that. So these limitations will be their main priority to reduce right now. They hope to reduce confirmation times and increase throughput within the several weeks. You can see documentation here as well. Over the next few weeks, we and the 6 external operators will cooperate to monitor the performance of the network closely. Once the network has sufficiently stabled, we will make setup guides available for anybody who wants to run a node, and they're going to shift their focus to testnet. We will be sunsetting DevNet next week, so we are going to the next step for the Igra testnet, which is very, very big. Soon there'll be a public testnet coming out, and I'd like to believe, therefore, if it reacts or if it functions in a similar fashion to how the Casplex testnet had run, which was basically a 3 weeks grace period to see how it would function, Igra will do something very similar. So that therefore may mean that we're going into September now. September, you got October, then you got November, December. So we're already getting towards the end of Q3. So maybe Igra's mainnet does not come out to the end of Q4. We have to wait and see. Again, that's just me speculating, because what you want to see, again, I would, in all honesty, despite what you guys may believe, or girls, whoever's watching, what you people may believe, I would prefer Igra to wait until Q1, if necessary, 2026, to make sure that it's fleshed out and it's ready to go live, as opposed to them releasing it in Q4 with potential some issues or some backdoors available that could end up ruining the belief around the project, around Kaspa, around Igra, and basically just causing a lot of FUD. Now, we'll have to see where it goes from here, but Igra are seemingly working very, very hard, working just to fine-tune things. Things are looking good right now, which is great stuff. And again, that's Igra. We know that Casplex had their audit done recently, which they had 2 extreme issues and 3 medium issues, and they've all been fixed. And their mainnet launch is now only 4 days and 2 hours away from now, which is really, really big news. I'm hoping that I will be available at this moment in time. That will put 31st of August, I'll put it in and around the Sunday. I will be likely holding my executive roundtable with my VIPs on the Sunday. So I'll hopefully be able to talk about it with them first and what it may mean, and then provide some insight to you all here as well. Might see a look what it looks like, but again, this is great stuff, and this might trigger a bit of a rally for Kaspa and value. Again, there's no guarantee of that, but my sentiment for believing that is because on the announcement of these Kasplex smart contracts, we saw Kaspa rally 20% in value. I believe it was it here? No, it was not there. Trying to remember where it was. We saw, it was here, sorry. Of course it was here, yeah. On the announcement of the Kasplex mainnet launch on the 21st of July, we saw Kaspa rally 20% in value. So on the actual release of it, if everything is smooth as we hope it to be, and not a repeat of KYC 20, then we could see maybe similar FOMO. It might be a buy the rumor, sell the news event, but if adoption can come through, and then of course if you get stable coins like Circle and Tether launching as well, that would bring more adoption in. And we're seeing more Bitcoin maximalists also take notice of Kaspa as well, which is great stuff. Very good stuff. And once more, why we say bullish on this project, we know what is coming. And we're seeing the space continue to accelerate more and more. How does Kaspa compare with XRP? What would make someone choose XRP over Kaspa? Right now, the center for XRP over Kaspa is a number of things. One would be it's a bigger asset. It's number 3 on CMC, so it's more known, and therefore people will trust it more. It's got more big partnerships. It's been spoken about in more of these papers and whatnot. So again, it will be more trusted in that regard. And if they get ETFs, that would be so the main catalyst is just XRP is bigger, and therefore it will get more adoption than Kaspa would, at least for the time being. Now that can very quickly change when people actually learn the true importance of sovereignty, self-sovereignty in your assets, and true ownership and decentralization, and also doing all of that while still having the speed necessary to compete, while also being cheap with transactions as well, which Kaspa has. Again, the KRI releasing their warp core that would actually, in their words, make XRP obsolete, and what Ripple are doing obsolete, because they could do that with Kaspa, but decentralized. So we'll have to see how that goes forward. But that's effectively the sentiment behind it. What's up, Anthony, bro? Hope you're doing very well. And now I am late. I know, Kryptoni. I apologize for that. I feel that the biggest changes are ready to go as we speak, because there's been such thorough testing on the test. I wouldn't be surprised if all of the tier 1 listings release the listings and Kaspa at once. I don't think that's a bad theory, truth be told. I don't think it's a bad theory at all. Of course, we have no guarantee of that, because we believed it happened after 10 BPS, and someone else saying after smart contracts. Ultimately, we don't know. We are hearing from people that it's going to happen when it aligns with their business strategy, which I'd like to believe, therefore, would mean when the market starts pumping. But again, it's up to them. I do like Mr. Ma's thesis that, they are preparing strategically to list Kaspa. Now, when they'll list again, we'll have to wait and see. But there is a logical thought process behind the fact that if one lists, especially if it's Binance, the rest will follow quickly in suit. Because, again, Kaspa's innovative, and if Binance lists, the FOMO coming off that alone would make it much more expensive for the other exchanges to list Kaspa. So they're better off doing it while at the same time, pretty much. Anthony, I agree. I think the tier 1 or the tier the new are in cahoots with each other if they're interested. First time they'll risk their own money. Yeah, and that's also a big thing, The fact that Kaspa's fair launch means they're not being paid to list Kaspa these exchanges, so they have to use their own money to list it. So again, that's another reason as to why they've not listed Kaspa just yet. End of the day, if they do, which I hope and believe they will do, then we're going to see a significant rally and value for Kaspa. So we'll have to keep a close eye on it. And yes, as Bufflink says here, if you enjoy the stream, always leave a like, share with your friends, and subscribe for more. I can't wait to stake Natra NFTs and see what 2026 holds for Kaspa smart contracts. Yeah, that will be an interesting time. It'll be a very interesting time. There'll be a lot of applications and dApps and whatnot coming to Kaspa. A lot. So You know, what's to come in store for Kaspa will be very, very interesting. And of course, you know, as always, be very careful regarding whatever you do. Because again, we've seen it already with KDX, with Change Finance, and with Probify. All seems like very, very legit, good projects, and they just front run you and rugged you. So you're going to be very careful in what's coming to Kaspa. Make sure that what you're doing, the network you're using, the layer 2, whatever maybe you're using, that is trustworthy. Do your own research, but there will be those who inevitably will act in good faith and want to actually build on Kaspa because they see a big future with it. And if you can find those platforms and use that stuff and partake in yield farming, staking, in information security, in messaging, whatever it may be, then yes, it'd be a very interesting thing for Kaspa. Very interesting indeed. Thoughts on Slow? I've already done pretty well on it. I hold a small bag. Well, shout out to you, brother. You know, Slow, of course, did very, very well, which was launched off the back of Sompolinski's 7.5-hour podcast with the Bitcoin Maxis. And we can see right now Slow is currently at a $912,000 market cap, 14,846 volume, and 2,300 orders. So it's, you know, it's great. Now, I'm not too well versed with Slow. I understand, again, with meme coins, it's always a very, very intricate mindset you have to have, because the mindset with, you know, Nacho for me is they're very well connected to very big parts of the Kaspa ecosystem, to Zeal, to Igra, to Casplex, to Kaspa.com. They are kind of ingrained into many different webs of Kaspa's ecosystem, so Nacho are in a very good shout therefore. And they also have 80,000 holders, which is very, very reassuring to me. With Slow for me, from my little knowledge of it, is more like the Solana meme coins. And what I mean by that is, when you saw, what can I give an example? When you saw, what was the big event that happened last year? When you saw Luigi Mangione, whatever his name was, you know, the guy that took action on the CEO of, you know, healthcare, whatever it was, and he got arrested for it. They released a meme coin for that when that first came out. And that, you know, did extremely well, and then of course it fell off because it's no longer the big hype news. I'm not saying that Slow will do the same thing, because Solana's ecosystem to Kaspa's is not the same, and you know, it just have a bit more, I guess, solidity behind it because it's Sompolinski's turtle, you know. But for me, it's like, I'm not sure how much utility this meme has, which does inherently just mean that it's going to purely rely on community sentiment. Something like Nacho, I think, has a lot stronger possibility of staying alive due to its utility and its integration into the ecosystem for Kaspa, and other projects in this space that are building stuff as well. Like, for example, Wolfie. And I'm not saying this to show the bags that I'm holding. I do hold Wolfie. I've mentioned that numerous times, but I know that Wolfie they have a restaurant, a cafe in London, and they're building more around the world as well. That for me is a reassuring thing. So those assets are ones that I think have good longevity. Slow may do something like that in the future, but right now it's just simply a meme. Now, if you've made a big bag on it, fantastic. You know, again, the whole purpose of these memes for the most part is to make your gains and put it into your secure long-term picks. So if you've done that with Slow, fantastic. If you think it's going to be a great long-term hold, that's up for you to decide. I am personally not involved. But those who made a bag on Slow, congratulations. Again, it's doing pretty well from its launch. Only been out for, 6 or so days. You can see, done very, very well. So will they continue going up from here? It's tough to say. Tough to say because, again, if it was a Solana meme coin, if it was the Solana ecosystem, it probably will start dying off now. Unless Sompolinski came out again and showed his turtle again, that would pump it up again. But otherwise, then it will start going down from now. But as it's a Kaspa ecosystem, and we are a lot more convicted and united as one, not as much PvP in here, it may stay alive for a little bit longer, you know. And it may even come back and go up higher. Again, it depends. We need to see Kaspa go up first, really, before anything in the KRSTs really make any significant gains, which is currently where everyone's sitting on right now. I remember Mark last week, top 5,000 wallet. Hey, love that Gosu. Big up to you, brother. Keep stacking that bad, my man. Indeed. Welcome back, protagonist. IOTA built for AI agents and World Economic Forum. Plugin, PLI, Next, Chainlink, A0, ZK Layer 1, XEC, eCash, Casta, Algorand, XDC, Teltonic from Kronos. No idea what you're talking about. I don't know if you're trying to shield Tectonic. I have no idea. But fair enough. Again, leave it at that. Welcome back, Coach. Hope you're doing very, very well. Hi, today I see your title. Who said to listing? What's the news? So basically, it was highlighting some more more rumors regarding Binance, but more so the fact that Kraken Exchange have finally pulled the pin. They've been listing Kaspa since November 2024, but they only had a USD pair, so no stablecoin pair, and they have finally added a USDT trading pair for Kaspa, which you look at Kaspa right now, when it loads up on CMC again, of course my PC is very, very slow. When you look at Kaspa right now, you can see right now, number 44 on CMC, we've currently got roughly 50 million, I'm guessing, 24-hour trading volume. 42.5 million, 2.33 billion, and you can see right now Kraken has come down to 2%. But on yesterday's announcement, we talked about it. The amount of volume for Kraken was above 5%, which isn't a lot in the grand scheme of things, but Kraken typically does between 1 to 3%. So it doing 5% is proof that the USDT stablecoin pair is having an effect on more inflows and more adoption of Kaspa coming through Kraken, which is good because I'd argue Kraken's one of the biggest exchanges that hold Kaspa. You've got Uphold there as well, you've got Bybit, you've got BitGet, but I'd argue Kraken's probably the biggest one. At least if you look on CMC, Bybit's the biggest one, but in regards to what, for some reason, I still don't completely understand why, but in our community, we do not perceive Bybit or BitGet as tier 1, despite the fact that they are, very big exchanges, 4.5 bill and 4.2 bill 25 trading volume, and 4 million and 3 million weekly visits. They are big exchanges, but we don't perceive them as tier 1s. Of course, there are different levels of tier 1s. Binance and Coinbase are and OKX, they are big tier 1s in their own respective fields. Bybit, OKX, but then of course you look at Kraken, which is a lot lower down, but I think it's one of the biggest and most trusted American exchanges. 1.3 billion, 1.6 million weekly visits. So that was the tier 1 news from yesterday, Coach. We have been dreaming about smart contracts for years, and now we're counting the days. Oh yeah, literally counting down the days. We are so very close now. Kaspa is faster than what people think, but look at what we've been doing, what have on Kaspa and technologies. Nobody did what Kaspa did in 1 year. I mean, exactly. Kaspa is the fastest asset in history to reach a $100 billion market cap. Not 100 billion, sorry. 1 billion. A $1 billion market cap, the fastest asset in history. It'll probably be the fastest to reach 100 billion, truth be told. You have to wait and see. Though. In some more news, though, before we continue on with other sources right now, we've got this post from XXIM and Kit, which I think is very interesting here. Highlighting, of course, his recent post from Ash Crypto, the US Department of Commerce to start issuing economic data and statistics on the blockchain, which is truly, truly massive. And Kit kind of goes into a little bit as the reason why. Because most of the labor, market, manufacturing data, GPU data, all this data that comes out gets revised after 6 months. When you load up Forex Factory and you look at the information there, like for example, we be looking a lot at the unemployment data in my VIP community, and equally in these streams as well. And we post it every single time it comes up. And then I think it was the last time it came up, we found out that 2 of the reports that came up previously, they got revised, and the amount of unemployment was at the non-farm payroll, the jobs, was at 140k or so, and they got jumped down to like 17 or 70k. And I was like, how did you just lost 100k? Just like that? That makes no sense. That's currently how the current economy runs, and the stuff gets revised every 6 months. Having data that's immutable is truly commendable. Soon, people will be demanding all government data goes on chain that cannot be manipulated. So you'll be seeing the job reports, the non-farm, the inflation data, all that sort of stuff will be on chain and will be up to date in real time. It'll be a major upgrade for the market transparency and will force accountability. So if you are lying, you'll be called out for it. So it makes things a lot more easier as well, which I think is a very, very big change. So again, it's a big step for America and for the world. And of course, we'll come to crypto as well. And of course, we could argue in regards to having information that's truly secure and cannot be hacked into and changed. Because again, if you go to these other entities, the other platforms, you know, you could, if you, let's say you go, for example, into, what can I think of? Ethereum. Even Ethereum, as we talked about yesterday with Kryptoni, has had instances of hacks and, you know, whatever they may be. If you were to build this sort of platform on Ethereum, a bad actor could hack into the Ethereum protocol and revert those numbers, causing pandemonium, to then pump or dump the market and then, you know, act accordingly by buying the dip or selling the top and then revert back to normal. On Kaspa platform, it is a lot more secure. And of course, it will be more and more secure with more miners coming on board, with more adopters coming on board. So I think Kaspa would be a great place for that. Decentralized as well. Be a good thing to come for Kaspa. I mean, in general, you know, of course, that's what I believe here. And then in regards to other news as well, Cassia messaging has just teased a broadcast feature. This is the first step towards something close to group chat. It's more closely related to a Discord type chat room though. So you can search a hashtag, join it. So you can see that stuff here, which is again very, very cool right now. More and more stuff being built. Early doors, but this sort of stuff coming to Kaspa. Again, decentralized messaging, which I think is just again another testament to what can be built on Kaspa. And the sort of innovative tech that's coming through, and if Bitcoin maxis can see what's being built on Kaspa and can use it, they'll be more inclined to jump involved and also start mining Kaspa as opposed to Bitcoin, which has no real use case besides the store of value. Now we have got some other posts here quickly, which I'll get into in a moment. Before I do though, let's get some questions real quick. Some of these posts here, and equally Octa stuff, and equally some Zebec stuff as well. I'll play in a moment. But before we do, let's get more questions real quickly. I told you Binance spent 35 million. They're not playing for a 2x, they're looking for a 10x on investment. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. If they're spending a lot of money, they're wanting to make a lot of money back. They have to pay out of their own pocket. Looking for more than output. I mean, yeah, they're probably looking for more than 10x as well, truth be told. For you, the update on Kaspa on Binance page, like convert Kaspa to CAD, is old or new? I haven't really thought too much into it. I'm not really sure what Binance is doing for Kaspa, truth be told. They've been very, very distant. You know, always just within arm's reach, but never close enough. So I think Binance will launch the PN fully when they're ready, is what I say to that. Look at the chart for Kaspa, guys. We're about to explode in the next few days or weeks. I mean, we'd hope with smart contracts we might see a rally, but there's no guarantee of that. Because again, there's destined to be some form of manipulation going on with Kaspa. Don't be emotional. Be logical. We'll come and have our rally very, very soon. September and October will be the month to look at very, very closely. Altcoin season is really here. I mean, right now we're seeing Bitcoin dominance start to fall off. It's still below 60% right now, below that trend line, currently at 58.2%. If it continues going down, which right now seems to be the trend, then altcoin season is very, very close. That'll be further elevated by ETF filings, by treasuries for other assets besides Bitcoin being formed, by more legislative frameworks coming out, like the Clarity Act and whatnot, and other elements as well that we've talked about in these streams, and also in more detail on my VIP that suggests the cycle has got more room. Altcoins are still going to be coming through, and it might even extend beyond the typical time frame based on how much money institutions are going to want to make on a certain period of time. They don't want to have a 1 month pump, you know, they're going to have a continual pump. So yeah, I think there's an altcoin cycle imminent, with Ethereum nearing all-time highs still, and Bitcoin, you know, a little ways away from its all-time high now. The attention now shifted towards Ethereum, and Ethereum will start flooding into the XRPs and Solanas when their ETF finals come out as well. I mean, yeah, I also agree. I don't think $1 Kaspa is a moon boy prediction. It seems quite outlandish, you know, with Kaspa still only being at 8-9 cents, to say a $1 Kaspa is still very much achievable. But you've seen it again. I once more highlight you to AVAX. AVAX went from a $1.5 billion market cap to a $30 billion market cap in 4 months. So Kaspa going from a 2.3 bill market cap to a 30, if not high bill market cap, would be over $1. It doesn't sound too outlandish, but again, that's just sentiment. Have to do our own research. But every bull one is different, especially this one as well. And $1 could be very bearish as well. Again, we have to wait and see. Again, yeah, there's a lot of sentiment that suggests it's very, very bearish. If you look at Solana, ETH, XRP, and everything else, like Kaspa has better technology, better fundamentals. It has all the capabilities to go a lot higher, especially if we get the tier 1 listings and whatnot as well. But remember, don't be emotional, logical. It's a long-term play. Kaspa for the long term. But more importantly, gains coming in a cycle, stuff that's going to be coming out, but We are in a very, very different bull cycle. One that are being driven by institutions who right now are either not taking notice or are purposely neglecting Kaspa. Maybe because trying to bring attention elsewhere and then quietly accumulate. Point being is until, that sentiment massively shifts, which is starting to shift already. Again, Bitcoin massively starting to look at Kaspa now. Until it massively shifts, and we get more FOMO coming in, Kaspa's price is really just, it's a guess. Anything is, it's a guessing game though. The big guessing game. I don't think everybody does know about Kaspa, but a lot of people are starting to learn more and more about it, Welcome back, TP, bro. Hope you're doing very, very well, brother. Hope you're doing very well indeed. I'd agree that I don't think everyone knows a Kaspa. Those who do know a Kaspa and don't want to come over are probably because they are somewhat threatened by the project. Or, again, because they're being paid by the other projects to stay in their ones, Thought on Quick Crypto Coin. I hope that's not come out because I would not endorse that or support that in any way because, and I've made the point about it before, if for whatever reason in the future there was to be a coin based on my name, I can promise you now it would not be something I did because there's no incentive for me to do that. If I was to create a coin based on my channel, based on my community, and I buy into it, people then who support me and trust me will buy into it as well. But then when would I be able to take money out of it? I wouldn't be. I buy up my coin, I launch a coin, hold some asset, everyone else buys into it as well. If I was to then want to take profit on that, I'm then dumping on you lot. It makes no sense for me to launch a coin. I never plan to, and probably never will do. In fact, I never will do. So if you see a coin that ever says Quick Crypto Coin, Coin Factory Coin, whatever it may be, Quick Kaspa Coin, whatever, if it's something that seems to be based on me, know that 99.9% chance it is not me. So if you're going to invest into it, do so at your own discretion, because I most definitely won't be doing it. I don't know why, but I think Binance or Coinbase will not be the first to list Kaspa. I see Robinhood or Crypto.com coming out and nowhere to list it. I think Binance will probably be the first. Or I think you might see I think you'll see Crypto.com first, then Binance, or one of those two first, and then you'll see OKX quickly follow afterwards. I think Robinhood and Coinbase will be very late. Those two are typically very late to listing, so I'm not counting on those two just yet. What was your first entry for Kaspa? My first entry was way, way earlier, back in 2023, around here. But I didn't buy a lot then because I wasn't completely sure on Kaspa just then because it was a very, very early asset. So I did put a lot in. I started hedging a lot more around these points here. So I bought in very high, therefore, which is my mistake, therefore. But continue throughout this whole time of me doing content and stuff like that, and I've been talking to you all more and more. My conviction in Kaspa has only grown more and more, and I've been DCAing and buying more at every possible moment. So my average right now, I don't know. I think it's probably around 12, 11 cents now, I think. Maybe a little bit lower now. And I plan to get it lower continuously and scoop up more while I can. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we need rate cuts also. I don't. And I've mentioned that in my VIP community as well and other people. I've commented why we don't need rate cuts. And institutions say the very same thing. We don't need rate cuts. We get them, fantastic, but we don't need them. But at this stage, it looks like we are going to be getting them. So that is somewhat reassuring. Welcome back, Greg, bro. You're doing very, very well. Stock and a work call, so I'll be on the replay today. Sorry to hear that, brother. I apologize for going late today streaming, but hopefully you enjoy the replay as well and having a great day so far. Hopefully work doesn't suck too badly. 25 cents, 25 to 3x. I mean, yeah, 25 cents Kaspa would be a 3x from here. Still seems quite undervalued in the grand scheme of things, but who knows, right? Peanut. Perfect example. Perfect example. You had Peanut, and then you had Act that came out as well that also exploded, and then you had a Peanut Act combined project that also did numbers. It's a sentiment thing, right? While I think, and again, Solana and Kaspa are very different in regards to the ecosystem because Kaspa's community is more convicted, I'd say. So it's not as PvP, at least right now. That could very well change if everything comes on Kaspa, but it's not a PvP right now. PvP means player versus player, meaning you're just kind of trying to screw everybody else out of their bags. Will Slow do that? Don't know. Nacho going to go to the moon. I think Nacho's a strong KRC 20, no doubt. Cardano did 30x last bull run in the last few months. How can we predict only 3x for Kaspa? Again, the sentiment makes sense. There's so many logical sentiments to make that supports the theory that Kaspa is going to explode, and also it's not going to do anything. That I entertain both of them because institutional adoption being here and not really being in Kaspa just yet is a good argument to why it's not going to do well. But I also don't think it's that detrimental, and also Bitcoin masses getting involved is a big thing for Kaspa. And I think, again, if you look at other projects in the past, Cardano, Ethereum, Solana, AVAX, whatever it may be, they did insane rallies in their first cycle in the last few months. The last 3 months they did 20, 30, whatever X's. Why couldn't Kaspa do at least a 10, if not much more? In theory. Again, not financial advice. What do you think of ZellaSwap and their token ZEAL? I've not delved too deep into it. I can't make a fair statement on ZEAL because I'm not too well versed with them. The exchange or platform that I tend to use for anything regarding Kaspa, like the memes, has been Kaspa.com. I trust Kaspa.com. I've used them a lot, and their platform is quite sleek. ZEAL may be the next upcoming, maybe the better one. I know that ZEAL are on the Cashback testnet. They're also on the Igra testnet. I know Kaspa.com are one of the 3 that were partaking in the Igra Live pre-sale token, alongside Wolfie and alongside 3 Search Capital. There'll be competing dexes and whatever out there. I think the sentiment around ZEAL's token and its pre-sale element and airdrop and whatnot is what draw a lot of FUD around it. But for the most part, from what I've seen from ZEAL, they seem to be doing good work right now. So hopefully it stays that way and they don't end up, ruining their credibility and whatnot, the current sentiment they have. Bunch of gibberish, that one. I saw that Zebec chart. You're a faithful man. It's not news, Crypto. You know that I talk about Zebec occasionally, and also Octa. It's not news. In fact, let's look at Octa right now, just to really stick it to you. Octa USDT. Currently at 0.43. Still be trading around the zone, which is the last time I spoke about it, probably about 2 weeks ago anyways. Again, will Octa really make a move? It's tough to say because Octa is really, really undervalued, but also has really lackluster adoption. Very small exchange listings. So while I think Octa has the potential to be a decent project, its lack of adoption is going to really, really damage it. It's doing good things, lots of things, There's seeming collaboration of sorts, or whatever it may be with Kaspa. Now I said due to growing so apparently demand for Octa now is growing more, which is quite good for that, maybe reassuring. Due to growing demand, many new RTX 5090s have joined our platform and are available for rental. So, they're changing the rules right now. They're saying here, we are delighted to share that Octaspace is the very first platform on Earth to offer the ability to provide nodes using multiple operating systems. Our new Windows node installer is officially live, allowing anybody to provide a node using Windows, no technical knowledge or skills required, can join our 10,000 users and contribute your computing power to one of the fastest growing platforms in the world. Now that's very interesting. Of course, them expanding to Windows is a very big thing for Octa. Will it really amount to much in regards to price? Who knows? Because again, they need listings, they need ways to get adoption right now, and that's still very lackluster. Kaspa is not great, Octa's even worse. But they have had a decent month, all things considered. Zebec partnership with Octa, they seemingly have some form of integration with Kaspa, which is great for them. An AI block assist, the world's first. Open AI model, the window thing we just spoke about as well. QTC, one-click mining. First company to introduce virtualization in all of Web 3 and Web 2. A 4% increase in nodes. They have now got 10,000 real users as well, which is really, really cool. So Octa is starting to really, garner momentum and stuff, which is great for that as well. And in regards to Zebec, we've got this video here I'll play just now, which is just a little clip from their recent AMA, where they're talking about their mission right now to build a mobile network called ZebecNet, which could be very big for them and getting them more adoption in the future. So I'm very closely here to this interview.
We really had no choice but to launch our own mobile network. And that is ZebecNet, of course, in partnership and powered by World Mobile. Now, unlike traditional mobile networks, ZebecNet is purpose-built for financial connectivity and works alongside your existing mobile carrier, ensuring uninterrupted access to all your Zebec wallets, your payment cards, your payroll streams, regardless of where you are in the world. Now, ZebecNet is coming to market sometime in fall 2025. We are actively working on development right now with World Mobile, and it's going to be fully integrated with the Zebec Super app as well as all of our streaming tools. Now, do you know who's even more excited for ZebecNet than us here at Zebec? It's our over 200 enterprise clients who can now pay remote workers in over 70 countries without having to connect to local banking infrastructure. This is huge. The cost savings for these employers are enormous, especially when you compare to traditional remittance services or international employer of record solution. So this truly is a game changer for both the Zebec community as well as the enterprise clients.
Again, it's proof of stake. You haven't got to love Zebec. That's not the point here. The point being is my reason for holding Zebec and XRP is due to their partnerships, or their partnerships that allow them to connect to their enterprise clients. The fact that some of these crypto companies, and it does defeat the ease of the crypto, Bitcoin, Kaspa, I get that. Kaspa's biggest holding because Kaspa's one I believe in, but I do see that smart money are pushing this way as well. Wanting to try and make gains, benefits, and crypto companies who are supporting them, Zebec, XRP, XLM who have got partnership with Franklin Templeton and whatnot, they're going to be in good favor. At least for the time being. Will that stay the same for the long term? Who knows? But it's going to be in good favor in my belief, hence why I hold Zebec. And that is great to hear what they're building right now, a mobile network, which 200 enterprise clients are also looking forward to do so. Zebec seems to be cooking right now, and I think they're undervalued at 400 million. That's my sentiment at least. Now, we have seen some other big developments as well. Apparently, Google Cloud has taken a major step in the blockchain space with the launch of their own Layer 1 network, the Google Cloud Universal Ledger. As a product leader, he knows that Layer 1s must be truly differentiated. GCLU stands out by leveraging Google's extensive research and development to provide financial institutions with a high-performance, credible, neutral platform that supports Python-based smart contracts. Unlike blockchains developed by Circle, Stripe, and whatnot, it's designed as a neutral infrastructure, while Tether won't use Circle's blockchain, and ADAM likely won't be using Stripe. Any financial institution can build on GCLU. So that is good for Google because, again, one thing we talk about a lot and why I think Kaspa's going to do very, very well is what really allows you to survive in this space and strive in the future is your ability to be interoperable, to connect to other platforms. If you can connect to everything, you're in a good shot. That's why Ethereum right now is still dominating because it's the biggest ecosystem, but also everything that is trying to build and survive in their space is bridging to Ethereum or making a way to bridge Ethereum to them. XRP's Ledger got EVM sidechain now. Kaspa are building EVM, Zebec EVMs. Every platform that wants to really survive in this space has some capability, one way or the other, to bridge to Ethereum and back. So that is, because Ethereum is not scalable, it's not going to do great in the long term, in my belief. So you'll see all these institutions, the FIs, bridging from their Ethereum dApps and tools onto the other protocol of choice, which hopefully will be Kaspa's. But you're seeing GCLU doing a similar thing where anybody can build on net, which would be completely neutral, which is good. Doesn't mean they're going to be the best in the world, but again, they've got big support. The Google, is one of the Magnificent Seven, is big behind them. So this is why leaders like the CME Group have already chosen GCLU to explore tokenization and payments on one of the world's largest commodity exchanges, derivative market. Huge. So is a big testament to where crypto's going, where our future's going, which is great. It does, again, and I made the point and showed the video about it, which is one of my alpha documents, which is from one of the fintech leaders who used to be he was the founder of one of the Bitcoin mining companies, I think it was. Forget his name now, but I did show it in my stream previously, where he was saying that what's coming to crypto right now is fantastic. Institutional adoption, more money, fantastic stuff, but we are seeing more and more democratization has not been achieved yet. True democratization. And right now, while FIs coming in is great, we're losing that more and more. So hopefully at one point, we'll reflect back and go back to the original focus of crypto, which is having true ownership, democratization of your own assets, your own money. And that will therefore make, while it's completely neutral, it'll be kind of owned by Google Cloud. So, you'd like to believe that therefore that will really open up a corridor for something like Kaspa, which is truly decentralized and no one has ownership of. We've got this post here as well regarding Fed drama worsens about Trump's signed executive order to fire Fed Governor Cook due to, quote, criminal referral, which is, never happened in 111 years history of Fed where the president tried to fire Fed governor. That's why the markets were doing very badly there. So, Trump published an executive order, cites Article 2 of the Constitution and the Federal Reserve Act, claiming she can be removed for cause. The alleged cause is a criminal referral accusing Fed Governor Cook of false statements on mortgage documents. The The cause stems from the FHFA Director Bill who submitted a criminal referral to the Department of Justice alleging that she declared 2 different properties as her primary residence. This occurrence within the 2-week span of 2021, one in MI and one in GA. Trump called it a mortgage fraud. But why does Trump care so much? Well, because there are 7 Fed governors, including Fed Chair Jerome Powell, who vote on interest rate policies, and 3 of them Trump's appointed. So if he can remove Fed Governor Cook, then Trump would own the majority of the appointees. Therefore, if those... Again, Trump's basically trying to take control of the Fed from within. Not by taking control of the Fed chair, because he can't remove Jerome Powell, but he can take control of the governors who are voting on rate cuts and therefore get a majority vote to get his way. Which is why you're seeing a lot of controversy around this right now, where he's now saying that Governor Cook is acted illegally. As it stands, Fed Governor Cook's term does not expire till January 2038, which is 13 years from now. The Fed Reserve Act says they serve 14-year terms and can only be removed for cause. This is intended to isolate the Fed from political pressure to allow it to function independently, which I think is the reason why I think it's a good thing the Fed act independently to the government. In a situation where, in a situation where I think you need to have an independent party who can bring some form of semblance to what's happening right now. If Cook removed, Trump's path to rate cut becomes far more certain. 300 basis point rate cut, which I actually think would be terrible. They said that Trump has no authority to fire her and she will not resign. And then she said whatever actions are needed to prevent Trump's illegal action. It goes into a whole thing here. I'll link this also in my community in the news channel, in the free Discord server. But this is why the market's correct, because, of course we want rate cuts, but the removal or the complete taking over of the Fed by Trump, I think, would be negative. I think it'd be quite disastrous. Should we have some rate cuts by now? Yes. Should we be down 300 basis points by now? No, not in my belief at least. And if we do that all in one go, the whole economy will crash, in my belief. Or you'll see a disaster of some magnitude. The inflation will go out of control. If you see a 300 basis point cut. I think it'd be it'd make these markets go parabolic. But if that happened, I'll be looking to probably take profits quite quickly. Because I'd anticipate potentially a big reversal after that. But that's what happened there. The markets right now are still kind of just hovering, waiting around, not doing much. But I'm sure you'll see that sentiment change in the coming weeks, with rate cuts seemingly looming now thanks to Jerome Powell's more dovish stance. Welcome back, Christopher Bro, who's doing very well. Most cost-effective way to buy in the UK. I had somebody else ask me this recently. I haven't got a great answer. In regards to no KYC, there aren't many exchanges that offer that. I know BYDFI, the affiliate exchange that I'm working alongside, do offer no KYC, so you could scoop up Kaspa on their exchange for no KYC, which would suit your requirements, but I don't think, or I don't completely know. In fact, I'm fairly sure, because I did try it myself at one point. I don't think you could buy Kaspa and then Kaspa to your Tangent wallet off that. I don't think you could take it off the exchange. I don't think they offer a way to, obviously, if you buy it, because if you're owning Kaspa, you want to send it off, you've got to do it through the Kaspa platform, the Kaspa blockchain, which MEXC has, which MEXC supports, KuCoin supports, whatever it may be. I don't think BYDFI do. If you want no KYC to buy Kaspa, you could do it on BYDFI. In regard to other exchanges, let me quickly see what I messaged the other person about it. I still need to look into it more myself. Of course, you've got KuCoin, but I think KuCoin used to do no KYC, but I think they've now implemented that. MEXC does allow no KYC, but of course, that's up to you if you want to use again, us Kaspa community, we don't like MEXC, and we all know why. But MEXC does offer no KYC. That's probably why it's still being used so much. And then, other good exchanges like Uphold and Kraken, but they do have KYC. So it kind of defeats your requirements, unfortunately. The release of KYC20 and cashbacks on August 31st is not just a feature update for Kaspa, it's the fundamental expansion of the thesis. If executed well, it positions Kaspa not just as fast Bitcoin. Oh yeah, 100%. If Kaspa can get this right, if smart contracts are really successful and everything else, Kaspa evolves from it just being faster Bitcoin to Kaspa, an actual individual unique asset that is set aside from everything else. And exchanges will come. They will come, I agree. Welcome back to Miles, bro. You're doing very, very well. You're a bit late, because unfortunately I did actually cover your post. I thought it was very interesting. If you want to watch it on play, but you're welcome to do so, but I thought it was an interesting thesis, interesting theory, and I think it's, again, possible that we'll see that come to fruition. I don't think that's the case. I think we'll see it over 10 cent Kappa this year at the very minimum, but again, who knows really. But as a credible decentralized based layer for the entire future of scalable blockchain applications, the difference between the integrated model, Sui Solana, and the model Kaspa Ethereum. There's definitely a race right now. Yeah, I see what you mean. I think Sui might have the potential to flip Solana in the future, maybe. Kaspa, I think, has more than enough to flip Ethereum and everything in the future as well. But that's just, again, my personal belief. Wrap Bacon ETH on CoinGecko is essentially Binance wrapping Ethereum and selling it. They recash some transactions to try and grow their money in assets. They believe it will grow faster. Look into it. That Bitcoin Chain ETH can be used for whatever they want. 14 CMC. Okay, I will have a look at that. Quickly, just going to take a screenshot of your message so I can have a look at that in the time I do get available, which again, it's been a whole thing right now. Just making sure I screenshot that and have a look into it. But thank you very much for the insight. Again, Cryptony with the information. Do we have any blind spots we do not see that can replace Kaspa? To my knowledge, not really. Besides institutional sentiment, but otherwise they're not really, no. Eventually these companies got going to realise that they do not want anyone in custody of their money but them. Yeah, and that's when they'll come to Kaspa, 100%. Double top on Bitcoin? I don't think so. I wouldn't say it's double top for Bitcoin. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. I think Bitcoin's still got more to run. You still got people saying 150k Bitcoin. M2 money supply also suggests Bitcoin should be going higher soon as well at some point, so I don't think so. I think Bitcoin's going to make a move again still. Did you see Igra post this morning? Yes, I covered that already in this stream, which I thought was very, very interesting. And again, on to the next step as well. I like Octa, so stick it to you. Okay, well there you go. You don't mind Octa, you like Kaspa, you don't like anything else because it's proof of stake. Fair enough. Okay, well, ha. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I know. Move it to Kaspa or shut up. Well, fair enough. How do I fast forward this thing? You can't. Unfortunately, you're stuck here. Yeah, I did. You're famous now. Yeah, apparently you are. I mean, you are famous, Mr. Mars. Remember, every time you're not here, people actually ask where you are. So you are definitely famous, and now you're showing us on stream right now. So, great stuff, man. I like the post. I really, really do. So if you do more posts like this, I might show them. So keep it up. Anybody who makes posts like this, if I find them interesting, of course I'll talk about it. Of course I like covering facts, stuff like that, but sometimes theories are also got enough. Like the theory behind Mr. Mars' post here has enough embedded logic and fact behind it that I thought it was interesting to cover about it. The whole JP Morgan modern world here, I think is very interesting. So Kaspa and that we're going to think they're very similar spots. Because Archie says Bitcoin dominance, it will bottom at 40%. What do you think about that? I don't think anybody truly knows. Because, again, we're in a different cycle. Nobody knows. If you go back to the previous cycles, it bottomed here at 38%. Cycle before that, it bottomed at 35%. So it's probably going to bottom higher this time, maybe in the 40% zone. Will it be as high as 47%? Who knows? We've got institutions buying Bitcoin and still going to buy more and more. So it's not illogical, but nobody knows, And yeah, almost managed to escape yesterday, but unfortunately did not. Our dollar has been dying since the inception of the federal debt system. I agree. Yeah, we need big exchanges to capital pop. We do need big exchanges to help capital rally up higher, but they'll come in due time. They're like playing 3D chess with exchange rate added into the mix. Yeah, honestly. The Fed are all employed by Joe Biden. Donnie is doing what you need to do at Jay. I mean, yes. Don't get me wrong. They aren't supportive of Trump, but at least from my standpoint, cutting cutting interest rates from 4.5 to 1.5% in one go is bad. Is bad. It is too much. If they do it incrementally, fine. If they do it in one flash, like what Trump wants to do, I think that's too heavy. Because it first indicates there's a big problem, which there is. But also, as we're seeing with inflation right now is hovering around. I mean, if you look at Trueflation, Trueflation is another website you can use. It's just right now Trueflation that we're currently hovering around 2% or so. Oh, they've changed the website now. That sucks. Really? Why have they done that? Oh, so boring. Okay, well, you're supposed to do that for free and I have to sign up. I'll do that whenever. But inflation right now has been hovering around, going towards... Well, you had the PPI data that made it look like it's going massively increased. So you've had inflation now starting to rally a bit out of control. So if you were to cut rates significantly, you'd send that further out of control. So while I do think that the Fed, of course, they're more aligned with Biden, so that's why they're not being supportive of what Trump wants to do, I do think that they have been... again, if you've watched Plan K video, you'll see how, the Fed and what they've been doing, like they've been... Their whole job is trying to thread the needle and that tightrope, trying to tread the line of how to keep the economy stable and not send it spiraling out of control, which it always goes through pandemonium whenever there's war, whenever there's, any form of uncertainty, any form of or again, like there's right now when the dollar's value just starts diminishing because there's too much debt. So, end of the day, if Trump does that, fine. I think it would be a problem. It would completely shift the Fed. It would completely shift the Fed that would supporting Trump's agendas, but I think it could be worrisome. But again, we'll have to wait and see. Kaspa's performing much worse than other alts this year. Ethereum, for example. Ethereum is in my belief, quite a rogue example, and I said that because Ethereum is literally number 2, and also has ETFs. If you're going to compare Kaspa to altcoins, it's tough to compare Kaspa to really any altcoins. In the backup altcoins, Kaspa not perform very well, and that's evident. We agree with that much. Of course it's not. Ethereum has ETFs and institutional adoption. That's why it's valued so well as of late. XRP equally had its lawsuit. It's also done very, very well. Sui had its own elements of a lot of assets done very, very well. Kaspa's in a different spot. Look at your SAYs, look at your TALs, look at your algorithms. Kaspa performed as well. Again, perspective, end of the day, right? I think Kaspa has definitely underperformed, but I think again its time is approaching. And yeah, if we are holding to 2013, then yeah, we'll definitely make it by then as well. With that being said though, family, thank you all once more for watching and tuning in. Reminder, once more, I will not be going live tomorrow and maybe not Friday, but I'll keep you posted. Still going through a lot myself right now. I managed to find the time today, which I'm very happy about. But hopefully it'll be more or less concluded going into next week. We'll have to wait and see. If you enjoyed the stream though, leave a like. Share with your friends and subscribe for more. And if you want to know more about crypto and Kaspa and other sentiments, check out the free Discord server in the description. Also link on my homepage here as well. Equally the VIP, learn a lot more. 7-day free trial in there as well. Check out the private live streams, the recorded playbacks in there as well. Educational videos, alpha information and whatnot. All available in there. Or check out the BYDFI affiliate exchange as well. We could get many discounts and much more offering there as well. Actually, BYDFI is a part of Newcastle as well, Newcastle United. So BYDFI have got some very big partnerships cooking right now, which is great. So again, go check them out and check out my affiliate link down below in the description as well. Have a great day, good evening, good night, and I'll see you all